did you know that negotiation is one of those critical skills that can actually help you get whatever you want? May it be in a career, may it be in a relationship, or any other space that you're working on. And did you know that more than 80% of people really are not equipped with those frameworks of how do you actually negotiate in the right way? In this video, you're going to be learning what are those things that you have to keep in mind, what is the context, and how do you actually become a good negotiator. All right, there are going to be some expert insights on negotiation. Stay tuned. All right, so let's set the context. Let's understand the context before we move forward. So let's see what comes under this. The first thing you have to know or understand about negotiation is it's not a game. A lot of people think that negotiation is like a game where you score a lot of goals and you come out as the winner, but actually it's not a game. It's much beyond just looking at it as a game. All right, so that's the first thing you have to know as a context. Second one is know what the expectations of the other person is in this negotiation. So a lot of times I see in fact you would have even noticed people getting into a negotiation just for their own benefits, but that's not how you actually know make it a meaningful negotiation. So when I say meaningful, it need not only be meaningful just for you. It can, in fact, it has to be meaningful for the other person also, isn't it? Therefore, knowing what is the expectation that the other person has in this negotiation is going to really help you get to that decision making much faster. So that's the second thing. And the third thing you have to know is facts don't matter so much as the emotions that does. um, because we being emotional beings, we connect a little bit more using emotions than just facts. But if you can have both of these things in your negotiation, nothing like it. All right, so now let's go ahead and understand how do you actually negotiate. All right, I'm just going to be picking a specific context of um, you being negotiating, let's say for a salary hike, or you have some offers that you want to negotiate on. So let's see how that can be done. Are you ready for it? I hope you have your pens and papers ready, because even one of these things, one of these points, if you can start implementing, it can really elevate the negotiator in you. All right, so let's get started. The first thing, how do you actually negotiate? The first thing you have to know under this is, preparation is very important. When you say preparation, let's see what's coming under preparation. Preparation before the negotiation. In fact, a lot of studies says that 80% of negotiation happens even before you meet that person at the table. Because if you're well prepared, if you're really if you have a very keen understanding on a lot of things which I'm going to be talking about now, I think you have a 80% chance of making that negotiation work in whatever thing is you consider as a favorable outcome. All right, so that's the first thing you have to know. Preparation, super important. So now let's see how you can actually prepare for a negotiation. Let's say you are going to ask for a hike, um, or you have an offer and you have something else which you're looking at, and you want to negotiate on that. All right, so let's see how you have to actually do it. uh, know what your underlying interests are. A lot of time I see people making this mistake of just negotiating on the numbers, just going and saying no, this is not what I was expecting, I was expecting this. But a lot of people, 80, probably 90, 95% of them really do not understand what their underlying interests are, because they're always in that mode of chase. It's just a number that they're chasing around. All right, it's either for their own satisfaction, or because someone else has reached that number, they're probably chasing those things. But if you really understand your underlying interest, that's going to help you make that negotiation a little bit more easier and much faster. So now let's see by interest what I actually mean here. Right, so one can be the salary hike itself. That itself can be a big interest that you're looking for, which is absolutely fine. The second thing can be tax relaxation. There are a lot of companies which offers a lot of schemes and tax benefits which you can avail, which is part of your CTC, but a lot of companies do not. So you might look at a overall CTC, but uh, after this tax benefits, if the take home the thing that you get in hand every month, if that can increase substantially, why not look at these options? So know what are your interests. Is your interest just the number on the CTC, or is it actually the take home pay that you're going to get, or that you're wanting to get? All right, that's something you have to be really considerate about. The third thing is flexible working hours. Sometimes if you're too hard just on the number, you might miss out on other flexible benefits. Flexi benefits, as many of those corporates call. uh, so if they allow you to work in flexible time or flexibility with respect to location, work from home benefits and all this, that can be a great thing that you may have to consider. All right, this is the third one. The fourth one is health benefits. A lot of companies, if they're startup, they probably a little bit uh, have constraint on the on the budget and stuff. Therefore, look for certain health benefits that they're ready to offer. It can be some group health benefits or anything of that sort. Check out what's available with that organization. All right, this can be one thing that you might want to consider. Fifth one, very important, which many people ignore. Uh, just they jump because of the number they see on the CTC column, and then they keep wondering why did I even join? Because you did not do the right kind of research. You did not prepare enough before you went on to this negotiation, because your only constraint was the number. But what if you get a great work culture and you're okay to negotiate a little less on the overall CTC? That can be a life changer. In fact, if you get a work culture that really fits and helps you grow as an individual, I think the kind of opportunity it's going to open up for you later on is going to be immense. All right, so this is something you really have to prepare on and research on. Sixth one can be encouraging employee policies. As I said, some organizations offer kind of service with regards to transportation service or anything of this sort, which can be really, really encouraging and helpful for employees. Some maternity benefits or anything of this sort can be really beneficial, considering the kind of plan and future plan goals that you have for yourself. So please do consider all these things as well. And the seventh thing is one of the things which not many people look at. As I said, it's just a chase. So it's just a number game for a lot of people. But if you're someone who's really deep thinker, you understand the importance of your values matching with your organization's values, or anywhere that you want to get into. If you can really think of these aspects, this is really going to get you to the next level of performance, right? Because when you live your values, your core values that are important to you on a day-to-day basis, by the using the support of your organization, that's a really different feeling that you're going to have. You're really going to feel energized and motivated to go to work, and that's something which you really cannot put a number on. All right, so maybe you should start considering this factor as well. So these are some of the things that you can start researching on. You can be a little bit more well prepared before getting into the negotiation. So this is the second point. Now let's come to the third point. So something which is non-existent in a lot of people's mind when they get into a negotiation, which is about what is really important to the other person, to the other party that you're negotiating with. Have you actually asked yourself these questions? What is really important to the other person? Because it's not just about you in a negotiation. It's two parties, three or four parties are involved. So what is important for the other stakeholders as well? So here, what you can start looking at is something you might research, and you might figure out is uh, know the urgency of closing this position for the other person. So if someone is having an urgency to close something, maybe you can actually get a better deal than the other places. Let me give you an example. All right. So let me give you an example here. For example, let's say someone has decided to go out of the country, that they've decided to move out permanently, and they want to sell away their car, and they only have 2 weeks before they'll have to travel, and they can't leave the car locked in inside this apartment. They just want to sell it away. So it's not about making sure you extract the most out of it, but you can probably get your neck to your higher level of range that you're looking for. Let's say you had a range in mind, and probably if because someone is really urgent on making this decision, and if you're the right fit, you can crack a deal and get it at a very less price. So if someone else is selling it at 4 lakh, maybe you can get a deal where you can get it at 2.5 lakhs or something like that. All right. I hope you're getting what I'm saying here. So if you research enough, you will really understand how urgently they want to close this position, how urgent is it for the other person to make this negotiation or get this negotiation into a closure. Okay, so this is something you really have to know, and you can only know when you do when you're really prepared and when you are doing the research well. So the second thing can be, uh, is it a matter of specific skill set that they want, that they're looking for. Sometimes we do not try to understand what the other person is really looking for. Is it just to fill up the position, or is it because this position got open because there was a lack of skill set from who was holding this position before, or is it a new position that has formed because of certain goals and roadmap that the organization has? Why has this new position, or what's the real core intent of this position? If you really try to understand these factors, you will be able to dig deeper and come to a conclusion a little bit more faster. All right, so this is the next thing that you really have to keep in your mind. What is really important for the other party whom you're negotiating with? All right, that's the third point. The fourth one under preparation is, has there been, uh, how has their past been, good or bad or great? For example, let me give you a situation where, you're trying to negotiate on the salary with a startup. Right, they're just starting up and they want to fill this position, and there's a lot of great future that can happen with this product and all that. But if you're uh, very constrained on the number that you see on the CTC, if you're hard on negotiating on that, without trying to understand, do they actually have the budget, do they have the capacity to make that happen for you, you are probably going to lose out on the long term benefits that you might get by being part of the startup. uh, I was there as part of a startup for over 5 years, and I learned a lot of things, not just the technical stuff, the sales, marketing, a lot of interpersonal relationship and all those things. So it may not be just about the CTC. What has how has the past been? How's the future is going to be? If you have a little bit more clear idea on all these things, maybe you will be able to negotiate a little bit better. All right. So if you got this, if you uh, got the importance of preparation so far, just leave a comment or leave me a like, and hopefully also subscribe to this channel, because you're going to be getting such education which is probably not there as part of either a traditional education system or even through the employment system. So right. So please do like and definitely do subscribe to this channel. So that's the fourth point. The fifth one being, has this kind of deal been done before by someone else? I think this is a great question you need to research on and ask for, because if this deal or this kind of a negotiation has been reached before with someone else, probably there are higher chances that you might get into such a deal yourself. But the few points to note here is, uh, as I said, if the deal has been done before, maybe that's a great case study. You can understand how this deal came to a closure, what were the key elements that led to the closure of this deal, and how each party benefited from this deal. All right, all these things you can get to know. And if there is no case study done before, or there's such a deal has not happened, probably you're going to be the case study, and you can learn a lot of things about yourself and about the other person, and a lot more things through this negotiation. All right, so get to know if this was done before or not. That's going to give you a lot of clues on how to get into or crack the deal that you're looking for. Okay, that's the fifth one. And the sixth one, when it comes to preparation, is this. Try to know the person whom you're trying to negotiate with a little better. And during this day and age, it's not so difficult for you to know the other person a little bit more better or well. So why is it important? Because you will get to know, is this person a number person who just looks at one one row of numbers and makes a decision, or is this person a detail oriented person, like is this person going to go deep on what you have accomplished and ask you what are your learnings and all those things? How is this person actually, what's the character of this person, like what is this person, what do these kind of the negotiator whom you're negotiating with uh, really want? Okay, so if you get to know a little bit more on about this person, it's going to be a bit more useful for you. Okay, the third one is this person who's more likely to take inputs from someone who conducted the previous round of interview, or someone who's going to conduct a next round of interview, or someone else for that matter. Let me give you an example. All right, let's say uh, let's say you like someone, it can be a boy or girl. So let's say you see this person with his or her grandmother, and you see that they have a great understanding. This person respects his or her grandmother very much. So if you're someone who's really who understand the context, you're probably going to first of all try and build a great relationship with this person, with the grandmother. And through this grandmother, you're going to help this person influence the girl or boy whom you like. you know just give me a smiley in the comment box if you got what I'm saying. So this is something which you can also do in a negotiation. So whom does this person really respect and take inputs from? If you get to know a little bit more about this, maybe you have a better chance to talk to that person, to understand this person a bit more, so that you can land that negotiation in your favor. All right, so that's something you also have to keep in your mind. So these are the 6 points when it comes to preparation. So now let's get on to understanding how do you actually negotiate. All right, so um, uh, now, when it comes to negotiating, you have to get to know this point in a very deep way. So, are you applying more and more pressure on the person, or are you trying to ease the decision making? If you actually understand what I'm saying, many people would really appreciate you for helping them make the decision faster. It The problem what a lot of people get into is, they only think that, okay, if I'm getting into a negotiation, I have to be really beneficial out of that. That's not how things work. Because if you not look at the points that I mentioned, what really means to you matters to you. And if you're only concentrating on the number because it's a chase that's out there, you're going to miss out, and you're just going to apply more pressure on that person, and in turn you're going to apply more pressure on yourself to make it work. All right, so think about this. Let's say you reflect back on some of the failed negotiation that you have had. Was it because you're trying to put a lot of pressure on this person, or you're trying to put a lot of pressure on yourself to really make it work? Maybe ask these questions to yourself. All right, for example, as I just mentioned, you have an offer from a different company, and are you only focusing on mentioning that you have an offer from a different company just to add up the pressure? That can be good at times, but if that's the only intention that you have, to always showcase that you have a different offer, therefore you're negotiating, probably you might lose out on great opportunities. Because a lot of great companies, they do not want to negotiate just because you have an offer from a different organization. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. They want to negotiate probably because of the value that you add, because of the person that you are, because of the specific skill sets that you have. So if you can highlight those things and not just go back to just having an offer, uh, that may turn off some people and you may lose that deal. All right. So if you got this, if you know for a fact that this is a cool hack, leave me a comment below. I really want to know who's actually learning from this and who's going to implement this. All right. So there's the second point that you have to know. So let's come to the third point on how do you actually negotiate. Uh, One of the most crucial forms of influence is the power, understanding the power of reciprocity. Reciprocity is nothing but you give before you ask for anything. So let's see what's coming under this. So what is it that you can bring to the table before taking something off, before taking the money off the table? So this is something which a lot of matured organizations look for, lot of matured HRs and other people look for. They really want to understand what do you actually bring to the table, and if they see a value, they are not even going to negotiate. They are going to say, okay, you got it. We are okay with what you are asking for. Okay, so let's see what other points are coming under this. Uh, what I'm trying to say here is, you can really cite examples from your past experience or from your expertise or whatever you have gone through to exactly tell them what is it that you bring to the table, instead of just saying, what, I can do this and this and this. Instead of just saying that, you can cite examples. You know what, in my previous organization I had this kind of a situation, and this is how I dealt with it, and I know I can grow more in those areas. And therefore I totally believe that the context that you mentioned for this role, I can bring in this expertise that I have, and solve some of the problems that you're facing now. Maybe reciprocity, you're giving something that you already have and then asking for the deal to take place. All right, you got it. Just let me know or leave me a like if you got this. So this is the fourth point you have to know. Sorry, the third one. The fourth one is, you really have to know when to walk away from that negotiation. A lot of people just keep going back to the same thing in spite of knowing subconsciously or intuitively that it is not going to work. So what I mean by this is, have a list of non-negotiables. For example, uh, when I got married, one of the non-negotiables for me was, this person whom I'm going to marry uh, cannot eat non-veg stuff. Because uh, it's not because I have any kind of notion about it, but it's a personal preference. I'm a vegetarian uh, from the time I was born, because of the orientation that we have in our family. So therefore, this was a non-negotiable for me. So what are your non-negotiables in a deal, in a kind of a relationship, in a kind of a role that you're going to take up? You must have all these things in your mind, right? For example, your CTC need not be a number etched on the stone. It can be a range that you can look at. Okay. The second thing you have to know is, have a list of negotiables. So negotiables can be, for example, variable part of the CTC. So you can say, okay, I want to reach to this range when it comes to CTC, but I'm a little bit flexible on, even if you say 10-12% of that is going to be a variable, I'm okay to agree to that. But can you actually help me reach that number? You can ask these things to the person. All right. So you have to really know when you have to walk away or when you can keep that negotiation on. These are the ways you can, or these are the ways some of the tips that you can follow, so that you can start negotiating better. All right. So now let's come to the close of the negotiation. And if you're really able to draw value out of this video, if you're seeing that, okay, whatever I'm teaching here through this channel is not just some, knowledge stuff, not just some theory, but some practical implementable things. I have a special link for you through which you can join my masterclass and learn a little bit more about how you can achieve high performance and still feel joyous, still feel happy, still be healthy while accomplishing a lot of things. Check out the link and do sign up for my free webinar. All right. So with that note, let's look at how do you actually close a negotiation. How can you close a negotiation in the right way? So the first thing is, if the deal is acceptable for both. Let's say you strike a deal and you're going to shake hands and say, all right, I agree to this deal. So let's do it. But like, just before you do this, uh, what you have to do is, thank you so much for this time, for your time, and for coming to this conclusion. Let I consider this offer accepted, but is there anything else that you want me to take care of? Just imagine what this kind of a statement does for the other person. So the other person knows immediately that you're not just here for the numbers, you're here for something more. And this can really open up a lot of new things uh, uh, for you within the organization, or whe- wherever you want to get into. All right, so you can definitely try this out. I accept this offer, but is there anything else that you want me to take care of once I'm there in this role? Okay, so that it gives a signal to the other person. If you genuinely believe this, please do it, otherwise don't do this. If you genuinely believe that you're here to serve and help the organization solve problem and also achieve your own personal goals, go ahead and do this. So when you do this, a lot of cases you'll see that the other person will say, uh, probably you can look at these aspects if there is anything, and they will ask you, all right, so is there anything else that you want me to take care of so that your onboarding becomes easy? All right, so they will open up and they'll start talking about this. So what you're essentially doing is you're developing great meaningful relationship with that person. So that's what negotiation is about. The second thing is being grateful, rather being graceful in your defeat. So when I say defeat, you should not look at it as a game. Therefore, there's no defeat. But a lot of people have this thing, right? Oh my God, what do I do? The deal did not happen. It might be a very important thing for you, but in spite of that, be graceful in your defeat. Let me give you an example. All right, so give up giving up now to look at long term benefits. For example, one of the deals, it was $1 million deal one person had to crack. Unfortunately, it did not go through. And you know what, this person, in spite of losing the deal, said, that's okay, thank you so much for your time, I really appreciate it. I know this went to the other person, but if there is anything that I can still help you with, please feel free to contact me. And you know what happened? Uh, the deal went to the other person, and after some time, the organization figured out the other person was not the right fit. Therefore, they approached this person again, and this person actually cracked that $1 million deal just because he showed up in the right way. Well, just because he had this abundance mindset that, all right, my loss today is not a permanent loss. I can get it back in some other way. Okay, I hope you got this. So if something is not really working out, don't feel that this is the end of the world. You probably, there are better offers waiting for you. That's the kind of mindset you have to start developing. So these are the two things on how you can close a negotiation the best possible way. And beyond this, I have just probably one point that you have to keep in mind when you're trying to get into a negotiation and even close it. Couple of points here. First one is, negotiation is not a zero sum game. Their victory is not your defeat. Your defeat, or rather your victory, does not mean it's a defeat for the other person. It's not a zero sum game. It's a game of building relationship. It's a game of thinking long term. That's how you have to look at negotiation. So I understand that not all negotiations can be long term. If you're just going out and buying something one time, it's just a one time negotiation. But I hope I'm able to drive the point across. If it's a career choice, if it's a relationship choice, so you have to think of long term, and you have to understand that it's not a zero sum game. Right, so this is the first thing you have to keep in your mind. The second thing is, negotiation is a process of learning. Most of the people think it's a process of reaching your goal, but it's a process of learning. And the more you learn about yourself during a negotiation, the more you learn about the other person, you can make use of this knowledge in your future negotiation, and in whatever you're trying to do in the future as well. All right, so please keep this points in mind, and if you're really able to see a lot of implementable stuff that you can readily start doing right from now after you watch this video, do leave me a comment. Do let me know that this is valuable to you, and definitely don't miss out on subscribing and liking this video specifically. All right, so thank you so much, and This is me signing off, and I hope to catch up with you again with more such interesting content that's actually going to help you grow as a professional, grow as an individual, and also help you achieve that high performance lifestyle that a lot of people have been ignoring on. All right. So thank you so much. This is Karthik signing off. I'll catch you very soon in the next one. Take care.